What if I told you the most important conversation you're ever going to have in your life and that you're having in your life is the conversation that you have with yourself every day? You might be unaware that you're even having this conversation. You might be aware. I'm going to break down in this video. It's going to kind of be a longer video. I wrote a bunch of stuff down. I might do another video too, just because this is one of the most important things I believe to help you become the best version of yourself you can be. Your inner speech can make or break your confidence. It can make you take action. It controls your reality. It controls your confidence. It controls your future, right? And the sooner you become aware of that and you start becoming aware of what is inner speech, what am I even talking about? So inner speech is the conversation you have with yourself. We all do it. You cannot not do it. This is one of the non-negotiables. This happens regardless. Maybe a monk. I've heard some monks say they can be, still for extended periods of time. Not to get off on a rant, but I'm assuming even they have inner talk. Like it's almost impossible, I believe, to not have this. So I wrote down a bunch of things. I'm going to go over some of them and break them down step by step. And then all I want in these videos is to give you the simplest, easiest way to start implementing these things. Sure, you can get really aggressive and dive way in deep, and that's what you should be doing eventually, right? But in the beginning, it's just tiny little, when you're looking at things and they're too big, that's when we get scared, and that's when we don't want to take action, right? So the easiest thing to do, and this could be the only thing you do, but it's one of the easiest things to do, is journal your thoughts at the end of every day, right? Our thoughts are pictures. If I said cat to you, you wouldn't see the letter C-A-T. You would see a picture of a cat in your mind. That is an amazing thing when you understand the power of that, right? But right now we're talking about inner speech, so I'm going to stay focused and on task. The next little thing that's really easy to do in the beginning and that you need to start making a habit of is pause and listening and ask, what am I saying to myself, right? Just throughout the day, in the beginning, just pause and be like, what am I saying to myself? Why am I saying that to myself, right? And you start questioning these things, and you start to become more aware that this is happening a lot more than you think. And as this is happening, we're unaware because we have so much old conditioning. And I don't want you to fixate on the past, the decade or 2 or 3 or 4 that you've been having negative self-talk. I want to just start right now, today, and move forward. The next thing I'd really like the 3-step process that I think is super simple and easy to understand and easy to implement, because in the beginning we're super busy. I get it. Everyone has jobs and could have a family, and I know the people I talk to, 10 minutes to most people is like a year. It is what it is. So I'm gonna just keep making videos, and hopefully some of you on here are serious and really want to start taking action. So the first thing I think that we should do, the first of the 3 steps, is identify the negative pattern, right? I call them red flags. What are these red flags? I remember growing up, and when I was in a relationship and it wasn't going good, I would talk to a friend. It's the first time I ever heard red flag. And they'd be like, that's a red flag. Why is she doing that? Why would she act like that? Why would she say that? And I never really thought much of it, other than I was upset and I was just trying to talk to someone to get it off my chest. The same thing's going on. We don't have a best friend sitting next to us when we're all alone. You have to be your best friend. You have to be the one that's like, wait a minute, time out. That wasn't I should not be saying that to myself. That is a red flag. If my best friend was talking to me like that, I would be upset. And if he heard me or she heard me talking to myself like that, she would tell me that's not true, right? We need to really take a deep, hard look at what's really going on internally. So just identify it, try to figure the pattern out, right? There's a pattern, I promise you. If you look hard enough, you'll find that pattern. The second step is challenge the narrative. Right, I've gone over this a lot in other videos because this has to do with all kinds of personal development. But I really want you to challenge the narrative, right? When you catch yourself, when you start to become aware and you start to catch yourself having these negative inner dialogues, I want you to start asking, is that true? Why do I believe that? Why would I even say that? Where have I heard that from before? Who said that to me? Why do I believe that? And why am I talking to myself like that? And I promise you, once you can start breaking these conversations down to where you're like, that's not 1,000% accurate. I know for a fact that might only be 990% accurate, but it's not 1,000% truth, right? Then you can really start ripping these things apart and really demolishing these old conversations that you probably just had with yourself for a very long time. So the third thing, then you're going to replace with empowering language. Obviously positive, but believable, especially in the beginning, right? In the beginning, this is all new and foreign, so we're not used to. I've done another video about this. If I was to look in the mirror and say I am a multimillionaire, it wouldn't resonate with me because it's not even close to being true yet, right? So in the beginning, when we're starting to change these negative conversations with positive conversations, we want them to be believable. Instead of saying, oh man, I screwed up again. I always do that. Just take a time out and be like, you know what? I'm getting better and better every day. It might not have worked out perfectly, but it's better than it would have been last week, right? Hey, and then every time you do something that works out, you really need to enhance that and say it over and over and over and over and over again. Man, I knew that was going to work out. That was awesome, right? We're lying to ourselves until we believe it. This is how me and you can have completely different beliefs. I might be right, you might be right, doesn't really matter because we're both going to defend them like we're both right? But there's only one truth. So we really want to make sure when we're doing these little affirmations in the morning, they're easy and believable. Because the more believable they are, the more of a feeling you will feel and it will make you feel good, right? That's the whole point. We want to try and leave the house in the morning if you have to go to work in a really positive state and then try to stay in that state all day long, right? If you look up neuroscientists or science and you just ask or punch in the question, our brains they can't distinguish perfectly between reality and a vivid imaginal act. This is scientifically proven, right? It's really hard to have a super visual, vivid imaginal act of something that we've never had before, right? So if you can start to, even in the beginning, remembering things, good things that happened and replaying them over and over and over and over and over again and making that picture really clear and then adding little things every week, right? I can't make a video without telling you about repetition because to me, it's the eighth wonder of the world. All of this stems off of repetition, right? We are giving a suggestion to ourselves by ourselves through the power of repetition over and over and over and over and over and over and over again until we believe it, right? When you start to believe it, then you start to embody it. And when you start to embody it, you start to expect it. And when you start to expect it, that is the Holy Grail. Expectation is our superpower. If you can expect to win, if you read biographies and you watch Netflix documentaries on people that have success, whatever that means to you, they expect to win. Even in the depths of, man, this didn't work out and I need to reflect and I need to step back and I need to get through this again and this really dropped me to my knees, they get back up expecting to win. There is a direct correlation between successful people and non-successful people. Expectation is one of the biggest key components in between the difference. And you can't expect to win if you're having negative thoughts and you're speaking negatively. It's physically impossible. It cannot happen. Now you can get lucky, you can win the lottery, like there's things that happen, obviously. But there's a lot of broke people within a year who won the lottery because it's not a blessing if you're not prepared for it, right? My mentor told me a long time ago, you only set goals to grow and to stretch and to become a better person. Sure, getting the thing's cool, but you have to grow and stretch to get the thing. That's the whole point of a goal. So not to go off on a rant there, sorry. So just to recap, I like daily practices to strengthen positive inner speech, right? It could be in the morning, like good affirmations, looking yourself in the mirror, looking in your eyes, saying, I love you. Say your name and then say, I love you. And then in the beginning, you might just have to step back and feel that feeling. Does it feel like you really do, or does it feel like you really don't? Most of 90% of people that take the love test don't love themselves, right? And I'm not going off on a rant. No parent's perfect. There's a million excuses why we don't love ourselves. Most of it was upbringing and programming. I get it. All I'm saying is from here on out, make it a committed decision to move forward. Trying to do the best that you can every day to become better today than you were yesterday, right? And then visualizing, and this can be tough for a lot of people. I get it, right? I created this journal, New Paradigm 90-Day Challenge, because it's hard for me to visualize when in the beginning. And so I created a journal that I could write out all of these amazing things that I'm working on and I'm doing and I'm changing and get a massive feeling. And it helps with my visualizing and I'm touching it, right? I love books, don't get me wrong, but when you're reading and you're going along and you've all done this, you go off on a thought trip and you keep reading, but you didn't digest any of that information. And then you come off that thought trip and you're a half a paragraph down and you miss those 3 sentences. It could have been the most important 3 sentences in that paragraph, right? So that's why I like writing. I'm just obsessed with it. I think that writing is extremely powerful. Mindful meditation might be difficult for some of you too. Like in the beginning, when you're trying to just calm yourself down, it can be a nightmare. You're being bombarded by thoughts and feelings and, especially if you're one of those people that always has to be on the go so that because you're avoiding something or you should have done something and you haven't done it yet, or you've had traumatic things happen to you. There's some of you on here have had things happen to you I don't wish on anyone, and I am extremely sorry that happened to you. I'm not saying to forgive that person, but I'm saying if you will forgive yourself from having to go through that, your life will enhance. I promise you. I know there's some people on here that have had some extremely horrible things happen to them in their lives, and I'm not trying to make one excuse for any of it. It's not okay, but it's not serving you to stay in the state that you're in. So that's where the mindful meditation really comes in and really helps you release things, right? I do it through journaling and visualizing and mindful meditation. With mindful meditation with no judgment. Don't worry about, because as soon as you start to meditate, you're going to have to go to the bathroom. You're going to want to get some coffee. Your leg's going to start itching. Like your body is going to be screaming at you to do anything other than sit still. Don't judge. Don't let it get to you. Right? You're like an animal in an animalistic state in the beginning. You have to tell your body to sit down. You are in control. And you have to literally treat yourself like an animal in the beginning. Right? And eventually, every time you get, you can do it for a minute. And then 2 days later, you can do it for up to 2 minutes, right? You need to really, that's a big deal. You need to celebrate that. Those are all huge wins, ginormous wins, especially in the era of TikTok and shorts. And people don't even want to watch long form videos anymore. They just want a 30-second quick little thing that if they didn't write it down or if they don't watch it 1,000 times isn't going to help them anyway, right? So just a little recap real quick. I really think you should journal every day, especially at night. I think you should get everything out of you from the day, right? During the day, I would really try and pause and listen and ask, what am I saying to myself, right? And just pay attention to it. Just start to make it a habit of actually asking yourselves. Then the 3-step process, identify negative patterns, right? The red flags. And just start to pay attention. Step 2 is challenge the narrative, right? Is this really true? Start asking yourself, why would I say that? Is this true? And then the 3rd step, replace with empowering language, positive and believable. So if you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. If you know someone going through a really hard time or you're going through a really hard time, please reach out. You have amazingness in you. You're just unaware. I promise you. There is no one on this earth, not the top neurosurgeon, I don't care who they are, that could even come close to telling you what you're capable of doing. You have infinite potential. So please check us out on School. We have a free 30-day self-mastery class. It's free. It's on SKOOL, New Paradigm Pathway. Yeah, please like and subscribe. Share the video with someone. DM, reach out if you need some, if you have questions or would love some more of an understanding of any of this. Inner talk, inner dialogue, whatever you want to call it. Please start to become aware of it. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Bye.